Hi, I'm Marianne Aliardi.
And I'm Tony Farmer.
And today we're at Sharrott Winery, and Tony's very excited because we walked up and there's this huge project going on behind us.
Gardeners have so much they can learn from farmers.
They do, and we're going to learn a lot today, and we're also going to tour the winery. Thank you to Garden State Wine Growers Association for sponsoring this episode.
I hear there's a pretty big compost pile we can check out too.
Oh, yay! I had no idea what was happening. Okay.
I had coffee.
We are here with Larry and Larry, the owners of Sharrott Winery, and we're standing amongst a whole bunch of poles, which I don't usually think I'm in a vineyard. So what are the poles for?
This is our trellis, soon to be built. So we've been planting 4 to 5 acres of grapes every year for the last 5 or 6 years. And this is actually probably the last year on this farm because we'll be completely planted. 100% of the grounds will be under vine, as they say. So this is soon to be our trellis. And we're planting Cabernet Sauvignon, Chambourcin, and Merlot. And Chardonnay this year.
So you have a lot of specialized equipment to do all this. How are you getting these in the ground? This isn't manual, right?
Yeah, so the first step of the process is part of the planting, right? So we actually put the vines in the ground first. And that's done with a specialized plow system that's attached to a tractor that's actually steered by GPS. And that's how we get our rows perfectly straight.
People don't realize how much tech there is in farming now. And it's growing every day.
Yep. Almost like your GPS in your car, they actually drive a route and they can draw a line then on the screen. And then they can basically take that line and just move it 8 foot over and then follow that line and keep putting in vines. And they work through that. Then what we do after that is we come through and we stake and cover every vine to protect it, to begin the growing process. And then while that's happening, the trellis goes in. And we use basically a hydraulic ram to drive the stake into the ground is the best way to do it. And then after that, we'll pull wires and then the vine starts to grow and we create all the support for them.
How did the winery start?
The winery started all the way back in 2003 when Larry and I decided that we wanted to do a business together. We looked at a lot of different businesses, ended up, he was making beer and wine at home. I was helping him make some of the wine.
And drinking it.
And drinking it, yes.
I see how this happened.
Yeah.
We enjoyed making wine better than beer, and we started taking some courses and looked at each other at one course that we were in and said, wow, this could be fun. I wonder if it makes sense. So the two of us sat down, wrote a business plan, and then we started looking for a farm. And we found this particular farm, which today is all open, right? It's all under vine. Well, when I found it, it was an overgrown apple orchard that really hadn't been tended. And it was to the point where it was so overgrown, you could barely walk through it. But it just looked like perfect for what we wanted. And then in 2004, we acquired it and we started planting vines. And all of the trellis that you see over on this side, Larry and I put in by hand. We started with 4 acres of grape here, and then we've expanded since then. Until now, we're just putting the last of our 22 acres in.
Are you doing anything else special for the individual grapevines that you're planting? Do you guys add mycorrhizal fungi, or what else are you putting in there?
We're not currently doing those types of the mycorrhizal fungi, but we are adding compost, which already have a lot of that into it.
For sure.
So prior to planting, we prepared our soils by doing cover cropping the year or two beforehand. We plant things that actually produce a lot of biomass and put a huge amount of organic matter into the soil.
Great.
That kind of primes the soil to be able to then grow a lot of microbes, which are beneficial for the plants. Then we add a ton of microbes that have already been growing on our compost by bringing those in. And all of that helps create a perfect environment for the plants to thrive.
So those are all large-scale things that a farmer's doing, but we do those on a smaller scale in the garden.
I compost, just so you know.
Oh, can we see your compost?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Wow, these are really major compost piles. So tell me, where do you get all of this from?
So the compost that we make on site, the majority of it is actually the waste byproducts from the winery. So it's all of the grape skins and seeds and the what we call pumice, along with all the stems that came up to the winery as well. We mix that with local horse farms that they bring us all of their bedding, which of course the bedding is full of horse manure and straw and those types of things, which is wonderful for composting down with our grape pumice. That, of course, we also mix with some crushed limestone in order to raise the pH and give us a good environment for all the microbes to grow and turn this from those products into black gold that we can then pour out into the vineyard and nourish all of our vines.
You can make really decent compost out of just yard waste, but adding animal waste to it really amps up the nutrient density of it. I feel another video coming on. We could go collect horse manure.
Oh, yes.
It helps us reduce the amount of chemical fertilizers we have to
Yes.
use. And our goal here is to eliminate them entirely.
Wow. Oh, Tony is going to be your biggest fan if that is your goal.
The other thing is it's so full of microorganisms that's what we want back out in the soil. So this is a perfect place for us to get them. We grow them essentially right here and then spread them right out into the vineyard.
A little teaspoon of soil can have up to 1 billion organisms in it if it's healthy. And this is what the whole farming community is talking about right now, is we've just focused on the crops for so long and inputs to make them grow, and now everybody's backing up and going, wait, if we care for the soil, everything else starts to take care of itself.
What people don't realize is that the soil isn't just a place that holds nitrogen and like the different things.
It's alive.
It's alive, and the plant actually can't uptake most of the things in the soil without the microbes actually processing it first. So it's almost like we were talking before about your gut biome, the fact that your gut actually digests by using the microbes in your stomach in order to make the nutrients available for your body. The soil is actually the exact same thing.
Yep.
Without the soil, the microbes colonizing the roots, the plant then actually can't uptake any of the nutrient that's available to it.
The other thing is that we find that the plants are actually healthier by having soils that are healthier. And so plants that are healthier actually repel to some extent, or don't attract anyhow, diseases and insects.
Similar to a human, right? If your immune system is strong, you can fight off a lot. And if you're not caring for yourself, not caring for your own microbiome, right? You're open to disease in a way you wouldn't have been.
The next step, of course, once you get the grapes, you got to make some wine. So you want to come to the winery?
Yes. Okay.
Twist my arm.
You can really smell the wine in here as soon as you come in. Can you walk us through what exactly happens here?
We harvest all of our fruit right out back, straight from our vineyards. It's all hand harvested and brought up to the back of the winery. From there, we go through the process of destemming, crushing, and then depending upon whether we're making a red wine or a white wine, we'll either juice it immediately in our press, and then we'll make the white wine from fresh juice. Or we'll take it and we'll crush the entire grape, skins, seeds, everything, and it'll go into our red wine fermentation. Once the wine is already completely fermented, then, especially on the red wines, we've extracted all of that wonderful flavor from the skins and the seeds, the tannins, the color, all that kind of stuff that you expect in a red wine. Then that'll be pressed off, and we'll have clear wine after that. From there, we go through the process of finishing the wines. We fine everything with natural products like bentonite, which is a clay that actually helps remove some proteins from the wines, which creates that beautiful, clear, bright, sparkling wine in the glass. And then after that, we go to bottling. Most of the time we use our bottling line, which is really the best way of doing it because that produces a wine that's had the least amount of oxygen exposure, which gives us the longest shelf life and the best quality product. But we're also doing some of our sparkling wine, which we bottle by hand, because that process requires us to be using live yeast in the bottle to create a secondary fermentation. That's what produces the bubbles, and that's what gives you all that great sparkling product.
Bottle by hand?
Bottled by hand, yeah.
There was a time when New Jersey wines didn't get a lot of respect. Do you think that's changed? I think it's changed.
Since we've been open, we've seen a significant change. And the New Jersey wineries have been producing wonderful product for quite a few years now, and it's proven by the amount of awards we win. For example, this year we won a gold in the San Francisco Chronicle Wine Competition for our Merlot but we also won a double gold, which means that every judge that tasted it awarded it a gold medal for our Barrel Reserve Chardonnay. That's one of the highest awards you can win, and that was against over 5,000 wines from all around the United States, including some of the best wineries in California.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks for showing us all of this. It's really amazing.
You're welcome.
Well, this is the best part of gardening, eating what you grow.
And drinking. Thank you to Garden State Wine Growers Association for sponsoring this episode. And thanks for joining us here at Sharrott Winery. We will see you next week.
Cheers.
To New Jersey Wines.